So my rants about this swearing ban have definitely been numerous, and we've had some reaction to the swearing ban and also the free speech ban, because that's effective. I'm calling it the free speech ban because it basically is, right? You can't criticize the FIA, any deeds, writings, or anything in between are now effectively banned by the FIA. You cannot criticize the regime. All glory to the regime. Doesn't sound like authoritarian dictatorship at all, does it, guys? Of course not. Of course it's not. That's definitely not what's going on here. This is a totally democratic and fair society that the FIA is. But anyway, some of the team bosses now have come out and spoke about this ban, because at the end of the day, this is not just for the drivers. This is not just for Formula 1. This is also for a top level FIA motorsport series as well. Yeah, and the team bosses are also affected by it too. So let's have a look at what's going on here, guys, what they've been saying. I'll give some thoughts at the end of the video. As always, full article on the F1Chronicle.com. Two Formula 1 team bosses have played down the outrage over intensified penalties for drivers' misconduct such as swearing. Alex Wurz, the head of the Grand Prix Drivers Association, is upset the FIA released the radical new penalties, potentially escalating to 6-digit fines or month-long bans with no consultation. Of course, this was voted in without consultation by any driver representative. Totally democratic and fair society, like I said. We had to find out about this through the media, said the Austrian. Wurz is not ruling out another strongly worded letter in the name of the F1 driver union, but he admits he at least sees some logic in clamping down on swearing. Ultimately, I'm also a father and it's best not to swear, he said. But it's not about swearing. We all know we have to be role models. None of these 20 top athletes are real rebels who want to swear and shout. Wurz suggested that the F1 authorities should simply use the bleep button to remove foul language from broadcasts. McLaren CEO Zak Brown agrees with that. Well, they do. They do in the radio broadcast. They do bleep it out in the live broadcast, so you don't even hear the swearing. Of course, when things are actually live as well, a lot of people don't realize this. When things are actually live, they're not actually happening at the time. They are on a little delay. 30 seconds, usually something like that. Not usually too much. That, of course, gives the live producer the chance to use a bleep. Something that a lot of radio stations do as well. Or, where they just basically dump out the swear word effectively. So, again, it doesn't have to be something that makes it to the actual the masses, really, at that point. Live audience is different, but like these press conferences don't even have live audience. It's just, I've been there, I've been in them. It's just journalists and the drivers. And I don't think the journalists are going to get offended by it. I'd be shocked if they do. But yeah, Zak Brown said, in general, I support this, said Brown after the FIA's controversial new range of harsh penalties were announced. But there are different situations. If you're in a press conference or in a situation like this now, then there is no reason to swear. But in the heat of the moment, it can happen that a driver swears under his helmet and that this is something else entirely. But by delaying the feed by 7 seconds, see, Mr. Brown agrees. We have the opportunity to prevent anything inappropriate from being broadcast. 7 seconds, it's not a long time, but these live producers are usually on it like a carb on it. So Mercedes boss Toto Wolff, meanwhile, agrees with us that F1 drivers do have a responsibility as role models. Drivers are role models, he said. We have a responsibility to ensure that our sport remains respectful and inspiring for the next generation. I think we want to see emotions in the car, and there are ways of showing that or not. I think we also have a responsibility towards all the spectators. In that respect, I think any initiative is good, and if we stop some of the bad swearing, that's positive, added Wolff. But have you noticed what there is not criticism of in that article? There is no mention at all of the criticism laws that are in place, because you can't criticize the FIA now. So those team bosses are all skirting around the regulations when it comes to that. They are not talking, and I'm not blaming them, by the way. Annoyingly, they're doing the sensible thing, because if they come out and criticize actively the FIA, they could get punished. They could get punished. Their teams could get punished as well. So I think that's what's going on there with that. The swearing, for me, honestly, the swearing ban is relatively small fry. It's not good, right? I'm not happy about that. But compared to limiting your free speech as a Formula 1 driver, as someone inside the sport, that is 10 times worse in my opinion, because there is always the argument of, oh, what about the children? Think about the children. And that is a valid argument in a sense, although I do think, yeah, just bleep it out like they're already doing. Like, it's not like this broadcasting swear words live on the radio. The days of Juan Pablo Montoya speaking about Kimi Raikkonen, or 2003, I think, or 4, something like that. Look up the clip. That is why team radio is no longer broadcast live. Good old Montoya. I love Montoya, man. Wow, what a driver he was. He just didn't care. He just did not care. He did not give an F at all. And I'm censoring myself because, of course, I want this more. I've got to get that monetization, guys. You know me. But I'm in a different industry, effectively. I'm speaking to the masses in content creation. When it comes to Formula One, you know, these guys, again, the heat of the moment. They're not actively looking to offend people. Like, if you were on the motorway, right, and your car's engine blew up, or you had a puncture, which happened to me once, by the way, that was terrifying. You wouldn't be like, oh no, I better get to the hard shoulder. That's rather unfortunate. You'd be like, oh, or something like that. Who in the right? And these guys are driving at 200 miles an hour, right? These guys are doing breakneck speeds with other drivers going breakneck speeds behind them as well, right? You know, it's just the way it is. So I think the swearing thing is a bit ridiculous, but compared to the free speech stuff, oh my goodness me, the anti-criticism laws. You can't criticize the regime. Glory to the regime. Glorious leader Mohammed bin Sulayem as well, of course. Yes, our Lord and Savior. So yeah, that's my kind of thoughts on it very briefly. If you want a more in-depth look, go and look at my other video at the time when I was rather enraged, to say the least. Calmed down a little bit since then, but it's still irks me, to say the least, that this is happening. And you know, we're gonna get these press conferences and stuff. I don't know if they're gonna do any for testing, but we're gonna get some press conferences for the Australian Grand Prix where the drivers are saying the absolute bare minimum, just like Verstappen was doing towards the end of 2024. The exact same thing's going to happen again. They're going to say the bare minimum because they don't want to tread on these new rules. They don't want to fall foul of them. That's just my thoughts, though. What are yours? Let us know in the comments below. Like, share, comment, subscribe as well, guys, if you want to see some more content on the world of Formula One just like this on the F1Chronicle.com. And of course, if you can, please head over to Patreon as well. Become a patron, get some exclusive member benefits. I'd really appreciate that, of course. Also on Substack as well, same thing over there pretty much as well. You want to get some exclusive content over there, head over to Substack as well. Links are in the description, and we'll see you very soon, guys. Have a great week ahead. Take care. Have a good one.